Okay, CBD 101, a brief introduction to an old resource. This is a presentation that we've done more than a few times. It's proven to be really successful. It's always been very popular. Uh, CBD is popular right now. A lot of folks have a lot of questions, and this is meant not necessarily to answer all those questions because it's a pretty expansive subject, but to try to help folks get a general overview of what CBD is, what it isn't, how to use it, things of that nature. So we're just going to jump right into this. Um, Quick disclaimer, sort of legalese, but long and short, CBD is not regulated by the FDA. Therefore, it doesn't have doses. It's similar to a lot of vitamin supplements and things of that nature. That being said, even though I am an RN, this isn't medical advice. This isn't legal advice. If you need either one of those, you need to seek out the appropriate professionals to provide that. So feel free to take a second, read over this, but most folks don't care. So who we are. Abbey Services. I'm a registered nurse. I'm one of the owners of Abbey Services. Together with Jamie, my sister, we operate Abbey Services. So what we do, we got to pitch ourselves, right? We are one of the area's oldest in-home senior caregiver providers. So what does that mean? We help folks find private caregivers to assist them in their homes, whether or not that's a nursing home, a private home, anywhere, to help them to stay independent with a little bit of help. It could be as little as 4 hours or as much as 24/7. Um, so that being said, in meeting with seniors, I know I personally found a lot of seniors who were confused about CBD, medical marijuana, and we started a separate service, a consulting service, to help guide folks through the process of, what medical marijuana does, what it doesn't do, how to get a medical marijuana card, how to effectively use it, things of that nature, because we were finding a lot of seniors that were trying to start using medical marijuana and failing. CBD is sort of an extension to that. We're going to get into the similarities and the differences. Yeah, so here we go. The goals of this program, or I guess presentation, if you will. First and foremost, we want folks to understand and know the difference between CBD and THC. We want you to know the difference between hemp extract and marijuana extract. We want you to know the types and doses of CBD, know some of the uses of CBD, and know some of the safety concerns, I guess, when using CBD, although it is pretty benign. So we're going to start at the beginning. We're flashing all the way back to 8000 BC, where they had found archaeological evidence of cannabis cultivation and use in Japan. They found that it was used for clothing, fishing lines, food, psychoactive substances, and as a spiritual aid. I think that's some of the properties that sort of have given it a modern day bad name. But you flash forward to 1500s, King Henry passes an act that requires landowners to dedicate a quarter acre to the cannabis plant. So in my mind, that goes to show that it was recognized just how important and vital this product was. Flash forward even further, we're in the United States now, the New World, Jamestown, marijuana legislation is passed. Settlers are required to grow cannabis. So it's not an option, you have to do it. In the 1700s, George Washington, a lot of folks know him, pretty popular guy. It was one of the main crops on his Mount Vernon estate. I guess the key here is that CBD, marijuana, it's certainly been stigmatized over the years, and that's a whole other conversation. Um, let's see here. So, physicians start to, I guess, do clinical studies on the effects of cannabis. In 1940, a Harvard trained chemist, Roger Adams, isolates specifically the CBD compound. Unfortunately, in 1970, the United States passes the Controlled Substance Act. Now, the Controlled Substance Act, yes, there's a lot of bad players, there's a lot of bad stuff. However, in, I guess, the case of this conversation, marijuana was classified as a Schedule 1 drug. This means that it has the abuse potential with no medical benefits, even though for years they were showing medical benefits. It had been studied, they were shown. That's a whole other conversation. Hemp was included in this classification. So, and we're going to get into this, CBD comes from hemp. So, unfortunately, CBD was lumped into this, and that's terrible. Again, despite years of contrary evidence. So, 2006, you may have heard of Charlotte's Web. Charlotte's Web was a product, low THC, that's the psychoactive component in marijuana. Again, we're going to get into that. High CBD product was used successfully to suppress seizures. And then, I guess, even more recent, in 2018, and this is why you're seeing gas stations, grocery stores, everyone selling CBD products. The federal farm bill legalized and regulated the production of hemp. So, what does that mean? Basically, it said that hemp could once again be recognized separately from marijuana based on the THC content. And for hemp to be recognized separately from marijuana, it has to have a THC content of 0.3% or less. We're going to get into what that means, but yeah, so brief history. I'm going to stop talking about history. So, next slide. What's the big deal? What does CBD do? So in 1992, researchers discovered a previously unknown body system called the endocannabinoid system. So as a nurse in nursing school, you learn about the respiratory system and how it works and helps you to breathe. You learn about the circulatory system and how it moves blood through your body. And they're still learning things about the body. It doesn't mean that it's false science. So they found this endocannabinoid system. What does it do? Plain and simple, the system maintains physiological, emotional, and cognitive stability through its actions on the central nervous system. So the way I've heard it described is that our bodies have a fight or flight reflex, right? And it saved us through years. It helped us get to where we are today. Cavemen would hear a noise and their heart rate would increase, and they'd be ready to either fight off the saber-toothed tiger or to flee. Now, current day, we don't necessarily need that all the time, but our fight or flight reflex is triggered all the time. The endocannabinoid system historically was used to bring things back into homeostasis, equilibrium. So if your fight or flight reflex was triggered, your endocannabinoid system would say, okay, calm down, let's ease back. There's no longer a threat to your life. Starting to talk about modern day, we have these triggers all the time. Driving to work in traffic, making you crazy. Oh, you got to check your email. Oh, you're getting a text. So there are all these things that are causing our fight or flight reflex to be appropriately or inappropriately triggered. So we're living in this state of, I guess, heightened excitement, heightened awareness, and no way to bring it down. Your endocannabinoid system is strained, and it can't bring it down itself. So you need, or I guess you don't necessarily need, but people are using cannabinoids from outside of their body to help them to calm down. So that's where this goes into. Endocannabinoid, the endocannabinoid system, are cannabinoids that your body produces. There are naturally occurring cannabinoids that your body produces already, again, to help bring your body back into homeostasis, to help you to calm down. Phytocannabinoids are cannabinoids that are produced by plants. CBD, the plant that we're talking about, is hemp. So CBD is a phytocannabinoid that can be used as a supplement, to supplement your body's naturally occurring cannabinoids. All right, so we're done, right? We know what it does and whatnot. That's what it does. Now, still confused. A lot of folks are, and you know what? I'm still learning a lot about this myself. So at its simplest, CBD is a supplement. It's something that's used to supplement, I guess, things that are already in your body. It's taken to supplement the naturally occurring cannabinoids that our body produces. Why do we need it? Hyperstimulated fight or flight reflex. It helps us to calm down and brings things down. So, the FDA allowed researchers to conduct CBD trials back in 2015 to sort of, I guess, explore, okay, what exactly does this do? So, it's unfortunately not currently regulated by the FDA. That's why it's considered a supplement, just like many vitamins or over-the-counter products. So the FDA may recognize that there's benefit in something, but not, I guess, have specific dosages and guidelines that people have to or are supposed to follow. In studies, CBD has been shown to have a wide variety of effects. Analgesic, that's pain control, anti-anxiety, bringing down stress, as we discussed, as a sleep aid, which probably ties into stress, but also, in the case of Charlotte's Web and whatnot, is an anticonvulsant, an anti-inflammatory, a muscle relaxant, neuroprotective, antioxidant, and antipsychotic. Now, these things are still being researched, and again, this isn't to be considered medical advice. It's all anecdotal. I know folks who have had really significant back pain that they were frustrated and tired of relying on opiates that are addictive. You've seen this in the news with heroin and things of that nature. It's not good. And they have found that CBD has allowed them to either back off or eliminate the opiates they've taken. That's fantastic. For me, it's been very effective as a stress reliever, as an anti-anxiety. We're going to talk about that. So, CBD, how's it available? How do you take it? You're seeing all kinds of things. Lotions, gummies, it's available in a number of forms. It's available, as I said, as an oil, capsules, patches, creams, ointments, vaping, pens, all kinds of things. Long and short, the key is that you want to get this substance into your body, and there's different ways to do that. The question is, how quickly does it enter your system, and how long does it stay in your system? And we'll talk about that as well. So, types of CBD, there are a few different types that you may see. Full spectrum CBD contains CBD. Of course it does. We're saying the CBD, right? Full spectrum CBD contains CBD, but this is the key point. It has trace but legal amounts of THC. Now, THC is the component in marijuana that is psychoactive. However, the amount that is in THC is too low to trigger most drug tests and is non-psychoactive. Now, I say most drug tests because if you are in a position at work or just in a position where you have to pass a drug test, you want to stay away from this no matter what, even though it shouldn't trigger a drug test. And that's where the second form comes into play, the isolate, which basically it's the same as full spectrum, but they remove all the THC. So, unfortunately, you're going to need a higher dose of the CBD for it to work because CBD and THC work together. However, most drug tests are for THC, which is absent in this form, so that's the benefit. So, what's the difference between CBD and THC? I have a little picture here of a hemp plant and a marijuana plant. And you know what? I got news for you. Largely, they're the same. It's like saying, hey, let's go get some citrus. Oranges and grapefruit are both considered citrus, but they are distinctly different. And we're going to talk about how they're different and why they're different. Marijuana and hemp both come from the same cannabis plant. They're all cannabis. So if you're like, oh, I've heard bad things about cannabis, I get news for you. Then you don't want CBD. But it's probably because you don't understand it or because you've heard some of these bad things. The difference between marijuana and hemp is the THC. Marijuana has been cultivated and grown to contain THC, and it's been bred, I guess commercially or otherwise, to contain higher and higher levels of THC. Hemp, on the other hand, as outlined in the Federal Farm Bill, has to contain, for it to be considered hemp, below 0.3% THC. So, THC is the component in marijuana. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a cannabinoid, just like CBD. There's a number of different cannabinoids, and it has many beneficial properties. However, one of the properties is that at higher levels, it can be psychoactive, and that's largely the reason that marijuana has been stigmatized. One property THC has that CBD does not is that at higher doses it can be psychoactive. And here I am repeating myself, but I'm just trying to go through the slides. So, you know what? That's referred to as the high that people explain and say when they smoke marijuana or ingest marijuana. So, even though marijuana and hemp are the same plant, cannabis, as I said, to be considered hemp, a product must have less than 0.3% THC. That's the CBD that you see sold over the counter. If it has above 0.3%, in Florida at least, it has to be from a dispensary. You have to have a medical marijuana card to take it, but not the CBD products. You don't need a medical marijuana card to take CBD products below 0.3% THC. So what's the big deal, right? We've got this guy behind bars. He looks like a pretty tough biker dude. As I said, the 2018 Federal Farm Bill removed hemp from the Controlled Substances Act. So what's the problem? CBD comes from hemp. That is why we see the increase in commercial CBD availability. It's legal. But from a law enforcement standpoint, the challenge is that there's no easy way to immediately know what the THC content of a product is. You just have to go by the packaging or by the label or by what somebody says. And that's sometimes a difficult thing to do. And that's where regulators are struggling to catch up. They're trying to sort of, I don't know what they're trying to do, to be honest with you, but right now it's sort of a big gray area. But CBD is absolutely legal, and we're going to talk about some of the CBD products that we have available. So, right, CBD sounds great. Let's go to the gas station to get some CBD. Pump the brakes, not so fast. This guy right here looks pretty excited. He obviously wants CBD, but you know what? Just like over-the-counter vitamins and things of that nature, you don't know what you're getting. And the catch-22 is because it's not regulated by the FDA. So, because CBD is unregulated, there are some bad players. You know, are you gonna go into the gas station to get, I guess, a medication that you want to utilize? No, but they have different things that are available. So, in testing, it's been found that some of the products have zero CBD or even worse, harmful elements because they're not tested, such as lead, mold, and other impurities. Those are things you do not want in your body. So I can only speak to the product that we've, I guess, researched and that we have available. It's great. It's a product called Prism. We have it here available at the office if you have any questions. It's from a reputable source. It's been independently tested, and that's key. And there may be other products that are independently tested, but with each, I guess, Prism product that you purchase that we have available here, you can scan a QR code. It will take you to an independent test for that batch to see what exactly is in there. So if you're getting something that says it's X number of milligrams of CBD, you'll see exactly how they reached that, I guess, number. But beyond that, it'll show impurities that they found, which hopefully, and there should be none. Lead, mold spores, things of that nature, things that you don't want in there. So it's nice to look over. It's something that you should watch out for and just to be aware of. It's important to know that hemp-based CBD, it is, again, and I know I'm repeating myself, it's non-psychoactive, and it is legal in all 50 states. So, safety concerns, remember that disclaimer I had at the beginning of the presentation? Talk to your doctor. You know, some doctors may think that it's great. Some doctors may say absolutely not. You know, if you take any number of supplements, and as we said, this is a supplement, any number of supplements from GNC, they may interact with medications. Your doctor may say, oh no, you should not take that, but you like taking it. You're going to do what you want to do anyway. But you should still talk to your doctor about this. But there are some specific areas that are known adverse effects that people should be aware of. Usually mild, consumers should be aware of the following concerns. So when you take CBD at a recommended dose or even above the recommended daily doses, the average CBD user does not have to worry about taking too much. There are studies that have shown that you would need to consume 15 or more bottles at once for an adverse effect. And quite frankly, I can't imagine anyone doing that, or they'd be pretty crazy, but you know what? Boy, it just seems wild. You're usually taking a small amount, somewhere to the tune of 1 milliliter, maybe 5 milliliters, depending on the dose. So with the products, they come in different milligrams per bottle. We recommend starting high. That's what I like to say. And one of the products is at 1,500 milligrams within the full bottle. And you can go ahead and do the math and take a look at how much is in each 0.75 milliliter dose. And that is, again, what's recommended through the Prism products. But basically, yeah, it recommends taking a 0.75 milliliter dose twice a day and then backing off as needed for the desired effect. Right? So if you're taking CBD to help you to sleep, you probably don't need it in the mornings. If you're taking it for stress, that's during the day, not at night. You may need it in the mornings. Me personally, I started taking it twice a day at the highest dose, and it was making me tired. I never am much of a napper, but you know, I'm a busy dad, and I had some downtime, and I laid down on the couch and fell asleep. I didn't need that. I didn't want that. So I had to sort of titrate my dosage based on that. As I said, I'm a busy dad, so I have some stressors that, you know, I didn't want to sort of sit there gritting my teeth frustrated with my kids. So I was taking it for that desired reason. So I backed off at the dosage until I found a dose that made sense for me. So CBD, at the same bullet point here, can affect other medications. It's sort of by the same mechanism that grapefruit interacts with different medications as well. Patients taking other medications should be aware that there can be interactions, just like any other supplement, anything. So that's why you want to run it by your pharmacist, run it by your doctor, to make sure that if you do have some of these interactions, they're aware of it and you're managing it appropriately. One of the biggest ones, I know a lot of seniors take Coumadin. CBD is known to increase the levels of circulating Coumadin when you take the two together. So say you're taking it for arthritis, but you're also taking Coumadin for whatever reason. That's something to be aware of because it could throw your levels off, and that could be bad. So CBD may impact the activity of liver enzymes, and I believe that this is the same mechanism that affects the Coumadin. This gets into some pretty specific stuff, but again, this is what you can talk to your doctor about. Cytochrome P4, I don't know, something that's in your liver. It's an enzyme. And at high doses, CBD can temporarily deactivate these liver enzymes, thereby changing the way that things are metabolized. Greater than 60% of current drugs are metabolized by this group of liver enzymes. So chances are, if you're taking some medication, you want to run it by your doc and make sure that it's not affecting, I guess, the way that these medications are affecting you. So many forms of CBD, as I keep talking about, are marketed as dietary supplements. And I truly believe that that's what they are. Again, they're not regulated by the FDA. I've got that in boldface so that you can sort of make sure that you know that. So the consumer has no way of knowing if the labeled ingredients are correct. You sort of find a product that you believe in and that you have faith in, and if you feel that it has, I guess, positive effects, you continue to use it. There was one study that showed that tested products purchased online contain 26% less CBD than indicated on the label. This seriously affects the dosage and sort of, I guess, throws people into a little bit of confusion. And that's why we say, you know, some folks are like, oh yeah, I tried CBD. It didn't really work for me. I got it at, I don't know, Walmart, the gas station, wherever. You may not have had what you thought you had, and you may not have had the effects. So I would recommend that you try a product, I guess, that you have faith in or that somebody else has seen, I guess, positive effects. And as we said, we have seen those positive effects through the Prism CBD products. Some manufacturers of CBD have made very extravagant claims, such as that CBD can cure cancer, or other claims regarding the benefits that have not been demonstrated through proper research studies. So, long and short, back to the disclaimer, these are all anecdotal. There are studies that sort of try to sort of identify these things. It has been shown to have effects for, I guess, anti-inflammatory properties and whatnot. I don't have my hands on those. So some CBD products do contain THC. We've already discussed this as well, but I always like to sort of point it out. And they can affect long and short-term memory and attention, as well as mood and mental health, just like marijuana. So it's important for consumers to discuss the CBD use with the physician and to obtain CBD products from reliable sources so that you know what you're taking. So the next slide is questions, which, you know what, we can't really do that. But if you have any questions, definitely let us know. We're happy to help. As I said, you know, we're happy to help seniors find good caregivers. But this has proven to be a beneficial product for a lot of seniors, a lot of folks. So we want to help in that regard as well. So